Well, the Yes campaign marked the 15th anniversary of the official opening of the Scottish Parliament by bringing together former MSPs from different parties who are campaigning for a Yes vote. Among them was the Scottish Socialist Party's national spokesperson, Colin Fox, and he joins us now from Edinburgh. Thank you for joining us. Colin Fox, are you happy with where the Yes campaign is with less than 3 months to go until the referendum?
Yeah, I think the Yes campaign, I've got every confidence that we can secure a historic and remarkable victory on the 18th of September. We've got plenty of time to persuade people who are listening to this case and taking part in this debate that this represents the best opportunity for them, economically, socially and politically going forward.
But what about today's YouGov poll, which suggests actually that you're going backwards and that the gap is beginning to widen?
Well, there's lots of polls out there, as you know, John. They're taken fairly frequently, and I think both sides of the debate will tell you that this is going to be a very close call on the 18th of September. And the Yes campaign will continue relentlessly, if I can choose one of Lord McConnell's words, to put forward the positive case for independence, giving the people of Scotland the full powers that they need to make their decisions in the 21st century.
Certainly the poll, as you say, polls, they're coming and they're going, but one particular detail of this poll, which might be of concern to you, it does say that financially people think they'd be worse off. Only 27% believe they'd be better off under independence. If you can't win on the economy at a time of austerity, when can you win?
Well, I think the evidence is compelling here that economically speaking, Scotland could be one of the richest countries in the world if it were independence. These are figures put into the debate by the OECD and by the Financial Times, and it's central to the Yes campaign's case that we are convincing working class people across Scotland that they will be economically better off by voting Yes in September.
But the implication of this poll would suggest that most of them don't believe that, aren't convinced.
Well, then we have to continue to put forward the case that we put forward in front of people, that they will be economically better off because Scotland is a wealthy country. We have oil and gas reserves, we have world-class financial services, world-class industries, services across Scotland, and we're perfectly capable of looking after our own affairs and making that case to the people of Scotland. That
case has been getting made for the past 2 years or so. We're into less than 3 months. Do you still have enough time to persuade people of that?
Yeah, I think there's plenty of time. And in fact, you know, I welcome the intervention by Lord McConnell today. I remember him as Jack when he had a Democratic mandate. But yeah, his intervention is essentially to say to people, Scotland has the best of both worlds as things stand. Well, of course, that's not true. Scotland doesn't have this strong Scottish Parliament that Jack McConnell talks about. I spent 4 years, as you know, John, in the Parliament, to be told repeatedly what you couldn't talk about. You can't talk about unemployment in the Parliament. You can't talk about the national minimum wage in the Parliament. You can't talk about the worst anti-trade union laws in the whole of Europe in the Parliament. And neither do we have vital influence at Westminster, because if we did, then Scotland wouldn't have the bedroom tax. We wouldn't have had the Royal Mail being privatised. We wouldn't have those policies imposed on us by an alien Tory government, a philosophy that we don't share.
You, of course,
so Lord McConnell's intervention today is helpful in clarifying the choices people have got to make.
You, of course, are from the Scottish Socialist Party. Are you happy with what some people might see as the pro-business vision set out in the White Paper?
Well, one thing I think, you know, I have to correct Jack McConnell on the package that you put there. Jack McConnell mentioned 3 times this was a debate between unionism and nationalism. And I would remind people, Jack McConnell included, that supporting Scotland's democratic right to self-determination doesn't make you a Scottish nationalist. It makes you a Democrat. And therefore it's a democratic right to vote for independence that we are asking people on the 18th of September to choose, and take the rights that 260 other free nations of the world already take for granted. And I think that's centre to this debate.
But a lot of the focus of the debate is in the Scottish Government's White Paper. Some people see it as being pro-business.
Well, I think the Scottish Government is pro-business, but these issues inside the White Paper come after the 18th of September. You know, there will be elections to the Scottish Parliament in 2016, but the first thing we have to decide in September the 18th is whether we vote for independence or not. And those other issues that you mentioned, pro-business, the other proposals the Scottish Socialist Party puts forward for a modern democratic republic, for example, That'll be decided in the time between the 18th of September and the 2016 Scottish Parliament elections. What
would be better then for the Scottish working class, do you think? A potential Labour government under Ed Miliband at Westminster with some of what he's proposed, or what some might see as a pro-business Scottish government at Holyrood?
Well, I think one thing's increasingly clear, that the only way to stop another Tory government getting elected at Westminster next year in less than a year's time is by voting yes in September. You know, anything else just won't do. We're running the risk of another Tory government that we didn't elect presiding over us for another 5 years. And yes, of course, guarantees that that doesn't happen. And that's the choice I'm asking people in Scotland to choose.
Just very finally then, what's being offered, some people have described as Indy Light. It's still part of the pound, it has the monarchy and still part of NATO. Do you feel the independence vision being offered is radical enough?
It is radical, absolutely radical. You know, you can see the interest in this debate across the left and breadth of Scotland, and the interest in this debate by people the world over who are focusing on a really remarkable decision that the people of Scotland are about to make. You know, I think it's palpable, the sense. I know today is the 15th anniversary of the Holyrood Parliament opening, and I remember then that palpable sense that something profound was about to happen and did happen, and you can sense that in the schemes of Scotland today, the same sense of real dramatic change about to take place in this country.
Colin Fox, thanks for joining us in Scotland tonight.
My pleasure.